NZFFFA Week 4 recap for the Premiership. My mouse keeps dying, so that's a bit annoying. Let's kick right on into it. Start off with myself and Clarence. And look at that big 35-ish point dub. Nothing really to scream about because Clarence's team did absolutely nothing. Except for Mark Andrews, big game from Marky Mark, but mainly his IDP not showing up at all. My IDP was a lot more explosive, especially with Jordan Brooks, with the Seahawks getting 11 sacks against the Giants. Trash old Daniel Jones. So that's a pretty easy. Did he have anything on the bench? I had Michael Wilson on the bench. I had McLaurin on the bench. Wouldn't have changed much, but it would have got his points scored up. Did he make a controversial? Not really. Nah, he made the right plays. Although I would be interested to see what rankings would have said out of McLaurin or Thielen, but all good, so I take the dub there. So I go 2-2. We're both 2-2 now. Jira getting the big win. 194 points. It's getting up there for scores. Double digits from everyone all round on his offense, except for James Conner, which is quite surprising actually. Achan just killing it. And Key Walker, 19 tackles. What is that? That man is just a psycho. Jordan Hicks, 11 tackles. Ernst Jones, 10 tackles. Unbelievable. He had Dobbs on the bench. And Ferguson, jeez. Damn, Jarvis teams pops off. Doesn't look that good on paper, but got a lot of good pieces there. His defense is pretty solid. But yeah, Jarvis team's looking real nice. And Jamie on the other side. Herbert, Williams, Gibbs, Kirk. I mean, his auto draft team keeps killing him. Oh, it's painful to watch. Now Lloyd somehow sneaking a win on the back of Brock Purdy. All his guys getting the double-digit points. Breeder and Pierce, solid. Oh, Olave not doing much, which was extremely strange. Puka just rescuing his team. And Cole Kmet with the big 2-tutty game. And another big game yesterday as well. So Lloyd could be looking solid. Rousseau with the 2 sacks. That's about it for IDP. And Van Ginkel. Wouldn't be relying on Van Ginkel though. Seems a bit scary. And then Sylvan's defense not doing much. And we're going to get to a controversial trade that Sylvan did. Aware or unaware. Later in the piece. So yeah, Lloyd getting his first win, and so they are on equal records. Are there any 0-4 teams left? No. We do have a 4-0, which is this team right here, Team Nacho. Sam getting the massive dub like that is just ridiculous. McCaffrey, Henry, AJ Brown. Enough said. If you had McCaffrey last week in any league, I got him in a couple. It is just fantastic. Bobby Wagner, 2 sacks, 17 tackles, and Khalil Mack with 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Unbelievable. Makes me reminisce on the Adrian Claiborne game. So I'm just glad someone had Khalil Mack in his lineup because no one had Adrian Claiborne that time. He got 6 sacks, so massive win there for Sam. I mean, that's just pretty unlucky for Gav, although he only scored 156, so he would have lost to most people because Burrow is stinking up the joint. Like crazy. T. Higgins is injured. Waddle's not underperforming them. Miami just crushing everyone with the run game. See, Gav having a bit of a down week, but the team's still looking good. And then Caleb with the second biggest score of the season on the back of Josh Stallion with 50 points. Justin Jefferson, Drake London had a touchdown, so that gives him a game. Kyron Williams, GOAT. Literally come out of nowhere. And then his IDP. Obviously, Caleb's been talking to Trey a lot because he's massive IDP game, including Harrison Smith with a huge game. From the safety position, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 14 tackles. Unbelievable. Look at that, all of his IDPs in double digits, except for Sam Hubbard, so that's a great week on the IDPs. And he had Fields on the bench. Oh my goodness. And Curtis Samuel's actually, he's doing a bit now. He could be startable soon. Oh, we had 3 sacks, Josh Allen on the bench. Wouldn't have mattered a Baron Taco because you would have got smoked regardless. And then here on, with Eli getting the win over Cam Richardson. So Cam just struggling to find the right play between Cousins and Tua, and they were both trash, so it didn't really matter. Hurts getting the big game. AJ Dillon, Akers doing jack. Wait, how did you score 190? Gabe Davis, Ayuk, Nico Collins. Gee whiz. 38 points. Josh Downs, massive game for Josh Downs. He's probably worth Khalil Herbert. Devonta Smith, and then Oluokun Quincy Williams, the brother of Quinn Williams, and Bynum. So just a few big boom players. Otherwise, like Eli's team had a bit of a down week except for those few players. So a solid win there for Eli because you take those weeks, get some of the crap weeks out of the way. And Cam's players just not doing anything, particularly his IDP, which is not his strength. Cam only knows offense. So if we have a look at the table, we've got Sam looking alone at the top there at 4-0 and looking strong, highest points scored. Gav and Jira at 3-1, a lot of 2 and 2s, and then 4 people at 1 and 3. So that is interesting. We'll have a quick look at the trade. So this was the trade that went down. So Sylvan is really caking trades this season. There's no other way to say it really. Sylvan cannot trade to save his life. So Sylvan messages me on Sunday night after this trade was accepted. And he goes, hey, I need to cancel this trade. I'm like, what do you mean cancel this trade? He's like, oh, I didn't mean to go through. I'm like, oh, you didn't want it to go through after watching Khalil Herbert play, or you accidentally sent it? And of course he was honest and said that he changed his opinion on Khalil Herbert after watching him play. I'm like, this is the hard lesson some people have to learn. You always got to cancel your trades before, go through all of your leagues, cancel all of your trades before any games are played. Because you never know when Khalil Herbert might have a 100-yard rushing game and then you change your mind on him. Because previously, he thought Khalil Herbert was only worth Josh Downs, when Josh Downs is waiver fodder. So unlucky Sylvan, Eli got you over one there, and I'm pretty sure Khalil Herbert had a good game yesterday anyway. So yeah, that's why always cancel your trades. And so Sylvan, you're just caking a trade. You cake that trade. You definitely cake that trade. Oh, you cake that trade. I don't remember that one, but you definitely cake that one. So we'll go to waivers. Like Jaleel McLaughlin at $46. What are you doing? What were you thinking? Unbelievable. That is a terrible waiver. Use half your fab on a guy who's going to be filling in on early downs. Unbelievable. That's the only real Ronnie Rivers for 8. I mean, that's just stashing a backup, so nothing major. Unless Kyron Williams gets injured, I'd say that's But in our league, it's only $8, so what can you do? So yeah, the last thing that we need to discuss is the playoff format. So I'm going to put a poll in Sleeper today so we can start voting on what we want to do for playoffs. It was something that was undecided, so we need to put it to a league vote. We can either do a top 4, bottom 4 method, or we can do a top 6, bottom 6 method. So the top 4, bottom 4 would just be traditional playoffs. So you'd have the top 4, the last 2 weeks playoff 1v4, 2v3, and then say in inverse for the bottom. So the bottom team would be the 1 seed for the playoffs for the relegation, or the top 6, bottom 6 would be the top 2 teams would get a week off, and then the bottom 2 teams would get a week off. But I'll explain everything in the post. So please vote for that today, and we'll set that in stone. So thanks everyone, and we'll move on to the championship.